And Usher and Chris Brown. See, they trying to do something new. Commodores with Earth, and Fire, we were doing that back 40 years ago. The only difference is between then and now, we didn't go to jail. I'm sorry. We're fine Christian men, fine Christian men. Fine Christian men. That's right. See, we didn't have that Instagram and that TikTok and that you go out and tell a lie, then go post it. What the hell was that? Let's still go see you see me.
Lionel Richie has entered the conversation. He has something to say about the Usher and Chris Brown. The two R&B superstars are currently hitting the road together, bringing their massive R&B tour to audiences across the country. But according to Lionel Richie, there is something about this tour that is exactly new. In fact, Lionel says his generation was doing this 40 years ago. And he made a comment about something his generation apparently didn't have to deal with. And that's where the conversation got very interesting. So, was Lionel Richie simply giving today's R&B stars a history lesson, or did he just throw some serious shade? Let's talk about it. This is Viral. I'm your host, Kendra Dix. Join in the conversation using the hashtag Viral here on Connect. And don't forget to subscribe. Subscribe is caring. Tell a friend, call a friend. Hit that subscribe button so you won't miss a thing. Let's get started with what's happening right now. Usher and Chris Brown joining forces for a major R&B tour, bringing two generations of R&B fans together under one roof. And honestly, from a business standpoint, it makes sense. Usher has hits of decades. Chris Brown has built one of his biggest catalogs amongst his generation of R&B performers. Put those two artists together and you got a show that can appeal to long-time R&B fans while bringing in a younger audience. But Lionel Richie isn't looking at this as some revolutionary new concept, because Lionel has been there before. Long before social media, long before TikTok, long before artists could announce a tour with one Instagram post. There were legendary R&B and funk artists sharing the role in the stage. And Lionel Richie knows that history better than the most. During a recent appearance, Lionel pointed out that the Commodores and Earth, Fire were doing major joint tours decades ago. Think about it. Two legendary groups, two massive catalogs, two major fan bases, and thousands of people coming together to see them perform. And so when people talk about Usher and Chris Brown tour as though ours is joining forces for a massive new R&B experience, it's something completely new. Lionel is basically saying this.
And Usher and Chris Brown. See, they trying to do something new. Commodores with Earth, and Fire, we were doing that back 40 years ago. The only difference is between then and now, we didn't go to jail. I'm sorry. We're fine Christian men, fine Christian men. Fine Christian men. That's right. See, we didn't have that Instagram and that TikTok and that you go out and tell a lie, then go post it. What the hell was that? Let's still go see you see me.
Like we said, Lionel was saying, hold on, we already have done this. And that's exactly the important point. Because of every generation of music eventually starts believing that they invented something. Technology changes, the market changes, the venue changes, but the basic idea, sometimes it's been around for decades And Lionel Richie is reminding everybody that the blueprint was already there. But then Lionel made a comment that really got people's attention. While comparing his generation of today's artists, Richie joked that his generation didn't go to jail. Wow. Let's hear from Bob Evans. Bob, take it away on what you think about this Lionel Richie making that comment about Chris Brown and Usher.
Lionel Richie has entered the chat, and he's got something to say about Usher and Chris Brown. The two R&B superstars are teaming up for a major tour, but Lionel says, "We've done this before." Richie pointed to his generation, including the Commodores and Earth, Wind and Fire, who were already sharing major stages decades ago. But then Lionel dropped the line that's getting everybody talking.
And Usher and Chris Brown, see, they trying to do something new. Commodores with Earth, Wind and Fire, we were doing that back 40 years ago. The only difference is between then and now, we didn't go to jail. I'm sorry. We're fine Christian men, fine Christian men. Fine Christian men. That's right. See, we didn't have that Instagram and that TikTok and that you go out and tell a lie, then go post it. What the hell was that? Let's do a little see you, see me.
He joked that back in his day, we didn't go to jail. Now, because of Chris Brown's well-publicized legal history, that comment immediately got people wondering if Lionel was throwing some shade his way. Was it a joke, a history lesson, or a little bit of both? Either way, Lionel Richie has sparked a conversation about old school versus new school R&B, and whether today's artists are really creating something new or simply putting a modern spin on a classic formula. I'm Bob Evans, your viral insider. Stay connected.
Thank you, Bob. One of the most informative information that Bob Evans does. And that's where this story went from a most conversational about music history to something much more personal. Because Chris Brown has had a very public legal controversy throughout his career. So when Lionel made a comment like that while discussing a tour featuring Chris Brown, people are naturally going to connect the dots. Now, we should be careful here. Lionel Richie did not announce some form of campaign against the tour. He was just saying Usher and Chris Brown shouldn't perform together. And his comments shouldn't be interpreted as part of a joke, part of the generational comparison. But because of Chris Brown's history, particularly the punchline, was always going to get attention. And the internet, well, the internet grabbed the microphone and ran with it. Let's hear what you people had to say on what the people say.
And Lionel Richie, what did Chris Brown do to you? What did Chris Brown and Usher do to you? First and foremost, I have to say this. I'm going to be very, very respectful because one thing is for sure. Lionel Richie is a living legend, okay? When it comes to music, he's an icon. So we respect Lionel Richie. But him being like, oh, and Chris Brown and Usher think they doing something new, and Earth, Wind and Fire, we did that, and the Commodores, we did that 40 years ago. You know, the only thing that's different is like, said something about jail. And I was like, okay, Lionel Richie, I don't think he meant anything really about it because, you know, people who are in older generations, they love to be like, oh, back in my day, we did X, Y, and Z, yada, yada, yada. Which is true. Earth, Wind and Fire and the Commodores, y'all had it going back in the day. But y'all can't get upset and throw shots at a new generation trying to do something. They didn't say they was doing something new. They are just celebrating R&B music and the history that they have created within the past 20, 30 years of making music. And we should just celebrate the fact that music is being celebrated in such a big way and that people are talking about this tour. Because yes, Earth, Wind and Fire and the Commodores, y'all had it going, but y'all wasn't doing backflips like Chris Brown. Y'all wasn't on roller skates like Usher. You wasn't flying around in the air, okay? And Chris Brown's response, I really love it. For him to say, you know, dang, Unc, okay, we love you, Papa. I love that response. Good. He's a living legend, so be respectful, man. Y'all know Chris Brown, my man. But, you know, I like that response. It was very respectful.
This is very sad now. This is some disrespect going on. Lionel Richie, y'all. Oh my God, we love Lionel. He joked about Chris Brown, y'all, and Usher during a concert earlier this month. Now they say he compared their co-headlining tour energy to the Commodores and Earth, Wind and Fire. He said, baby, 40 years ago. He said, we've been done that. Laughing, y'all, that the main difference. Yeah, well, Earth, Wind and Fire, you know, Lionel Richie and the Commodores did a lot of stuff back in the day. But baby, Lionel Richie laughed at the main difference. He said because the difference between them was the generation. And you know what? Chris Brown came back. And he said, we love you, Unc. We love you, Papa. That was disrespect. How could he call Lionel Richie Papa?
Well, don't be kind of, you know, I don't know.
He can't do that.
The word is congratulations to Usher and Chris Brown and all the things that they doing or whatever, because before they did it, somebody did it before them. I mean, you're talking about the Beatles and James Brown and a lot of co-headline to it, even before the Commodores did it. So don't nobody own nothing to nothing. The only thing we need to just be saying is just being congratulatory.
And grateful.
And grateful to the artists that's keeping everything going that you kind of kept the doors open.
That's
you know what I'm saying? Because the doors were open for them. So,
well, here's what they said, because I don't agree with what y'all saying. Here's what was said.
And Usher and Chris Brown, they trying to do something new. Commodores with Earth, Wind and Fire, we were doing that back 40 years ago. All the difference is between then and now, we didn't go to jail.
Oh,
I know
that was shady. That was shady.
Yeah, that he ain't right for that. I
he was
wrong for that.
No, he was hating a little bit.
He was joking.
Yeah, he was a little serious. He wasn't
that family member that be doing them little jokes, but it be shady and it really saying what you really. No, that ain't cool.
Yeah.
Well, I feel so
you know,
bad
because
for
Usher and Chris Brown is part of our generation. Or whatever. We grew up with the Commodores and whatever. We love the Commodores and Earth, Wind and Fire. We still play Commodores and Earth, Wind and Fire, but we love Chris Brown and Usher too. You know what I'm saying? And we proud to see two young black men up on, you know, after their trials and tribulations and everything, and can come back from trials and tribulations and go into jail or whatever and sell out stadiums. That's freaking awesome. And they put on Commodores and Earth, Wind and Fire didn't get on no damn swing around the whole damn stadium and doing the stuff that they doing.
But my thing is this, and that's fine and dandy, but why didn't Usher and Chris Brown, why don't you grab these men back, honey, and say, let's do a song together?
It's a whole different genre, bro.
Right.
But genres get together, honey, the 90s
well, you
and the
put
80s.
Earth, Wind and Fire on the thing and start spinning them around and they ain't had their medicine.
How y'all doing this Thursday? One more day and we heading to the weekend, y'all. One of my gay friends hit me up and say, Lonnie, you want to come to the kickback? I ain't fucking with their kickbacks. They playing lubrication all day. Now, what's going on with Lionel Richie? He was on stage in front of all those people with his navel poking out talking about Chris Brown and Usher. So he felt the need to get in front of all them people and tell them people what Chris Brown and Usher doing ain't new. Him and his colleagues been doing that shit. And I know his colleagues sitting at home like, don't put us in that shit. Come on, Papa, you ain't helping. Chris Brown going through enough shit. His dog out here biting people. They trying to put him in jail overseas. And his baby mother keep putting us in the group chat. With all due respect, Mr. Richie, can you just shut the fuck up and sing all night long, all night? Yeah. Speaking of needing to shut the fuck up, what's the DJ name over there at the radio show, y'all? They always look sleepy and tired. Damn, ain't no Starbucks downstairs. What's the name? The DJ that look like a tater chip, a plain one. What's his name? With my girl from Baltimore on the show. What the fuck is the name of the show? The Breakfast Club, that's what it is, bitch. And DJ Pale, Envy. Now, I love Chris Brown, God knows I do. But that lemon-head motherfucker on that show gonna have the audacity to say Chris Brown is better than Michael Jackson. Now, y'all know how I feel about Michael. I don't even fuck with Michael family because Michael didn't. But we love Janet. Y'all got to stop getting on these platforms that y'all don't have the passion for no more and saying anything because you lack creativity with conversation. So you just look for viral moments and just throw confusion out there. Chris Brown will tell you his damn self. Don't compare him to Michael because Michael is the greatest. And he admire Michaels. What y'all trying to stroke his ego to get him on the show? Bitch, call his publicist. Y'all old heads want to be YN so bad, y'all just crashing out. If you ain't feeling well, stay home, because you're saying anything on them pink people station. Oh, and did y'all hear about the Home Alone star? Daniel, the one that played Marv. He was the sticky bandit. Yes, he got caught picking up prostitutes. I guess the sticky bandit was a horny one. Now, did y'all hear what Megan Thee Stallion said? Megan says the internet has made it easy for people to get famous making terrible music. I love you, Megan, but ain't that the same way you came up off the internet? People love to bite the hand that fed them. Shannon Sharp. Do we like Shannon Sharp, y'all? Is he okay with us? Anyway, he ain't do shit to me, but he got a lot to say. Shannon says women should not be farting or shitting in front of their man. Well, I don't know if he talking about a first date, bitch, because when you married, bitch, you shitting with the door open, husband in there brushing his teeth, you go in there and pop a squat on the toilet. And we farting at the dinner table, especially if the collard greens good and juicy. And then after we fought, who did that? That was nasty. Anyway, this conversation need to continue over in the membership club. So join today at www.patreon.com/LonnieB's members only. Because we need to talk about that teenager that went off on that elderly woman, the 18-year-old that got slammed by the police, and it's a whole bunch of gay baiting going on. Everybody eating Skittles. Meet me in the membership club.
So ain't nobody gonna talk about Chris Brown falling on stage in the middle of the show? I know you're not, because you couldn't even tell he fell. Hey, CB hit the floor, and he didn't even give you time to be like, oh, he fell. Oh, my God, he didn't even give you time. Soon as he hit the floor, he put his hands on that floor and did a flip like a ninja and popped right back up and got back to singing. Look, I done seen people perform and they fall and they just lay on the ground. I done seen people in the middle of their show, they slip, they stop the whole program. Hold on. Y'all, I almost fell. All of that. I done seen all of that. But I ain't never seen nobody slip, hit the ground, pop back up like a ninja and keep on singing. I ain't never seen it. Hey, man, I keep telling y'all, boy, that boy CB is an Avenger, boy. Hey, that's a testament to his life. Every time you knock him down, he pop back up. Every time something happen, he just fall down, he pop back up. That boy CB something different, boy, I swear to God.
Lionel Richie, you guys know that he is on tour with Earth, Wind, and Fire. So he had a tour stop, and he had some things to get off his chest about Usher and Chris Brown's R&B tour that they're currently on. Let's take a listen.
And Usher and Chris Brown, see, they trying to do something new. Commodores with Earth, Wind, and Fire, we were doing that back 40 years ago. Difference is between then and now, we didn't go to jail. Oh, I'm sorry. We're fine Christian men, See, we didn't have that Instagram and that TikTok and that go out and tell a lie, then go post it. What the hell was that?
Lionel, you acting just like them niggas on TikTok and Instagram right now. What the hell? What the hell was that for, and why?
So I stop the damn concert to talk to us about somebody else's tour.
He was
Usher and Chris Brown.
He was walking back to the piano, so I think it was like one of those in between song breaks where they just be talking to you. But I felt like it was y'all the unks, y'all be doing like little funny little. Back in my day, I don't think he meant much by it.
The man
but the jail part was a bit. The jail part was a bit far. That was a bit far.
That was a stab, man.
There's no reason to do that.
No reason to do that.
Way too far. Chris Brown posted on his Insta story. He didn't know it was he.
Okay.
He just said all night long exclamation points all night. Like
he posted something else. I heard him say he was like, "Damn, Papa," or something like that. He posted,
I didn't see
that's
that.
crazy.
But on the one I sent you.
Well, that's good. I'm glad
random.
he didn't go too hard on him because Lionel, that was wrong. That was too much.
And it was random. That's Lionel Richie. You know how long Lionel Richie been on the road doing shows, getting money?
That's what he said. 40 plus years.
He don't even got to do that. Got to be more than 40.
Well, and the thing he just said, maybe he's talking about just with the Commodores, but he just said 40. I thought he said 40.
How old is Lionel? 80 something?
He definitely said 40 years ago. He did say that.
No, Chris Brown actually said, "Damn, Unc, we love you, Papa." That's what he said.
I didn't see that.
Right.
Lionel Richie is 77 years old. Man, he looks
very good, Chris. What? Girl, please.
You don't think Lionel Richie look good?
No, I don't.
For 77, on stage, on tour, almost 80?
No, I don't.
Oh. Well,
Now,
I think
Chris,
he looks great.
that was good. I'm gonna give Chris grace because Chris usually be going in,
But
though,
I think
but
it's
he
Lionel
ain't go
Richie
in.
He
because
wasn't
it's
gonna go in
Lionel
on
Richie.
Grandpa. He wasn't gonna go in on
it's-
Papa.
I'm telling you,
Be surprised.
really him. You are like OG Unc. When I watched this, I was like, this is like Charlemagne coded. Like it's love, but
I
it's
don't
like
act like that. When I got something to say about somebody, I say it because I got a reason behind it. That was
Yeah,
that was for no reason.
No reason.
That was a random
at all.
shot. Yeah, that was a random
And
shot.
then I
Really
wonder what
get
song
it
he
in.
went into after that. Like, what do you do?
I'm not for
after
sure
that?
what song you went into after that.
Jesus.
But yeah, so that's everywhere right now.
All right, Lionel.
Lionel Richie had me cracking up, talking about back in my day. We didn't have that TikTok and that Instagram.
See, we didn't have that Instagram and that TikTok and that Usher and Chris Brown. See,
We just went on tour with Sang, okay? That's funny to me. All he cared about was TikTok and Instagram. He didn't say nothing about humping on nobody. Because, you know, his generation was just as nasty. Smokey, Lionel, they were still humping and hip thrusting. Just like Usher and Chris Brown. But Instagram and TikTok is where he draws the line. I've been doing tours. We've been humping and thrusting for 40 years. But now Instagram and TikTok, that's gotta stop. Okay, you gotta really sing. I can understand that. I'd be mad too. If I was in the studio and now I'm watching kids in their apartment singing. Actually, that did happen to me. I do comedy.
Like we said, but here's where where it gets bigger than Lionel Richie and Usher and Chris Brown. The real conversation is about generation of R&B, old school R&B artists often look at today's music industry and say, we already done that. And today's artist might respond, yeah, but we're doing it differently. And both sides can actually be right. The Commodores, Earth, Wind, and Fire had joint tours. Today's artists may have massive area production, social media campaigns, streaming numbers, and global audiences. The business model has changed dramatically, but the idea of bringing multiple stars together to create a huge live experience, that's not new. Lionel Richie is essentially reminding everyone, don't forget who built the foundation. And honestly, that's a conversation worth having because of today's R&B stars didn't come from nowhere. They inherited a music tradition that was built by artists like Lionel Richie, Earth, Wind, and Fire, the Commodores, Luther Vandross, Anita Baker, and so many others. So what do you think? Was Lionel Richie simply making a fun observation about the differences between his generation and today's stars? Or did that we didn't go to jail comment across the line? Here's another question. Is Usher and Chris Brown tour really something, or is it simply the latest version of a formula that legends like Lionel Richie helped establish decades ago? Because one thing is for certain, when a legend like Lionel Richie speaks, people are going to listen. And when he talks about Usher and Chris Brown, people are definitely going to have an opinion. So let us know what you think in the comments. Old school had the blueprint, new school has the technology. Who wins with the R&B debate? I'm Kendrick Dix, and this is Viral on Connect TV. Stay connected because you never know what's going to go viral next.